Okay, this is a presentation I gave to my kids today, as opposed to the two videos that I actually posted yesterday. This one worked out a lot easier because I made this earlier this year, actually back this past summer. When I got this template from Rocks in Your Head, which you can see down here. Just Google it and you can actually learn about what the program is, but it basically goes around and teaches teachers how to teach about rocks. I did this, I was presented with this presentation last year and was able to get this as a template. But anyway, this is talking about how a rock is born, or better, recycled. Talks about igneous rock. Igneous rock is a solidification of magma and lava. It's the only rock that actually comes from something that's not a pre-existing rock. Makes up a vast majority, I want to say 70% or higher, of all the rocks in the Earth's crust. We have sedimentary rock, the first rock that probably came about, although it could be metamorphic too, but both of these rocks have to come from pre-existing rocks. This is one where we actually turn it into sediment by weathering it into smaller pieces and eroding it to move it some other place. That's sedimentary rock. Or if we subject a rock to high heat and pressure, it changes the rock metamorphically. Okay, let me throw a couple more things on there. Had the kids draw a cloud with precipitation, because that's going to start ripping away the rock. Rock, usually when it comes up to the surface, because it likes to be way down deep under higher pressure, high temperature, it's not happy. I call it the nail principle. Take a nail, pound it into a telephone pole. May have been nice and shiny in the box, probably in the factory too, but you pound it outside where it's wetter and colder, and it's going to change to a much more stable iron oxide, and that's the way of actually turning it into sedimentary rock, so it can actually be broken apart into softer things. We're going to basically, the rock is born, or better, recycled. Okay, so the rock cycle. Okay, rock was born. We actually start with magma, and which is molten rock inside the earth. Lava, molten rock outside. This is the first rock, igneous meaning fire formed. We have the magma chamber that actually holds the magma. It's under incredibly high heat and high pressure. The difference between magma and lava is not only the location. Magma tends to be warmer. It also tends to be under a lot more pressure. As it moves up, it cools and gets under less pressure. Some of the compressed gases, primarily water, but carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, other gases that are in it, just like soda. In fact, I actually talk about making this into a soda bottle eruption. Throw a soda cap on top of this. As this material moves up the conduit of this volcano, pressure and temperature decreases, which can cause it to be more viscous, more resistant to flow. But if it's got more pressure, it's going to build up the pressure and make this volcano maybe more eruptive. I'm going to do a volcano presentation next, so we'll talk about the three basic types of volcanic cones and the coolness of each type. Build up of pressure. Pressure actually starts working up the conduit and blows off the top of the volcano. Lava comes out. The difference between lava, it's sort of like the soda bottle. Once you've popped the top, the fizz goes out. Lava is defizzed molten rock, defizzed magma. And that's one of the biggest differences. It's changed chemically. Forms rock out here. This is called extrusive rock, formed outside the earth, either on the surface or above the surface. Incredibly fast cooling, sometimes in the order of minutes, hours, days. It's called aphanitic rock because well, actually, let me show you this slide. Because the crystals in it, the individual crystals, Bowen's reaction series, discontinuous, continuous, and felsic. These mafic minerals, which form at a much higher temperature, try to come out, but they come out as the lower temperature felsic, and all the the calcium, sodium plagioclase over here, they all come out basically showing no crystals whatsoever. We also have intrusive igneous rock forming inside the earth, much more slow cooling, maybe in the order of 10 million, 100 million, or even a billion years to cool. That's called phaneritic because it has large or massive crystals. The individual minerals that are in there get to come out at different temperatures, like olivine comes out about 1400 degrees Celsius. So as soon as this molten rock cools to that point, olivine crystals start to form. Soon after that, the rest of the mafic minerals start to form, and then we start getting felsic minerals forming. This is the partial melting thing. If that was to move up, the mafic minerals would stay down here in the mantle, and the felsic materials, the liquid, would be going up. As this rock comes out, it cools very quickly, so quickly that the air bubbles, the gas bubbles, solidify inside of the rock. We get a rock that's called pumice, extrusive, aphanitic, no crystals, less dense because it's got compressed gases inside, and it's a lighter colored lava because it's made out of felsic magma, or in this case, felsic lava. A little farther down, maybe chemically different, is a rock that's called scoria, extrusive, aphanitic, more dense because it's made out of darker lava, more mafic material. If it actually cools even faster than that, I'm going to say it cools underwater, what we get is a rock that's called obsidian. Very glassy appearance, no compressed gases, but the quartz, which makes up most of the felsic material, actually forms a nice glassy type appearance. Native Americans used to use this for making arrowheads and spearheads. Out in the west coast of the United States, they use this for landscaping. Makes a really beautiful reddish brown stone that you can put in your garden. And this one, of course, is actually used for callus removal. They take pieces of it, put it into rodent cages, so rodents can wear their teeth down. You can buy a soap called lava soap that has ground up pumice inside of it. This one floats. This one tends not to because it's more massive, because of the mafic material that's more dense. And then we move all the way into the intrusive rock, which is called granite, because it's phaneritic. It's got really slow cooling, really large, beautiful crystals, used for lots of cool things, headstones all the way to kitchen counters. Okay, rock is born sedimentary. Sedimentary made out of sediments. The big thing about sedimentary rock is clasts. Where igneous, it was crystal size and texture. This one is class, the size of the class. We get weathering and erosion, starts breaking the rocks. They tend to actually move from a higher energy environment to a middle energy environment to a low or extremely low environment. Where we tend to get waterfalls up here, we can get large materials breakage. They tend to actually break in very angular pieces. If they end up here with other material and get solidified, cemented, compacted, cemented, that rock is called breccia. Relatively large crystals that have an angular appearance. As they move farther downstream, they get more rounded. We get a rock that's called conglomerate, rounded with mixed grains. If they come down even farther, they get smaller and smaller, more angular sometimes, rounder sometimes, and we get a rock that's called sandstone. We can get larger pieces of sand. We can get smaller pieces of sand glued together to make sandstone. Makes some really beautiful. If you go to Arizona, Page, Arizona, where my son just moved, you can actually see some beautiful banded sandstone and things like Antelope Canyon, or just some of the rock that's around Page, or Arizona, New Mexico, Utah area. Smaller pieces, clays and silts, move out, and we get what's called siltstone, forming farther out. And then farther out even than that, where the silt actually stops falling, and then we just get pure clay. That's a rock that's called shale. That tends to be the smallest clastic pieces of rock that actually are emitted from this whole process. Out here, this water is pretty clean because the particulates have been taken out, of course, unless we get biological like algae and other things in there. But out here, what we get is we get a precipitated rock. The material actually comes right out of the water, chemically or physically pushed out, and that gives rise to a rock that's called limestone. Limestone can have class. There is fossiliferous limestone, oolitic limestone. Both of those actually have pieces in them, so they are bioclastic. But usually these guys are called non-clastic rock. You can get chemical limestone as well. Very similar to a Tums tablet, calcium carbonate or antacid tablet. I shouldn't use the word Tums, but Tums is good. Okay, so that deals with the sedimentary rock. Next rock is Metamorphic. Metamorphic all deals with heat and pressure. Starts with a protolith, the rock before it is metamorphosed. It can be igneous, sedimentary, or metamorphic. You can have low grade, medium grade, and high grade metamorphism, which is going to change the rock. It has the same chemical composition, but the minerals change and the structure changes. These tend to be harder, more dense, and smoother rock than their parental because they're actually put under pressure. They're squished. So this rock is cooled lava. This one is ripped apart and re-glued. This one is squished rock. We can do it three different ways. We can bury the rock. Actually, with a lot of pressure, we can change this rock chemically, making new minerals. That's a metamorphism. We can make contact metamorphism, put it up against the cooling igneous rock. When this was turning into granite over here, it actually released heat to the surrounding rock, and it can actually cook this rock around here. That's called contact metamorphism. Some geologists are actually saying that contact probably doesn't work, but I still think it's a good way of doing it. We can turn limestone into marble, and sandstone into quartzite, and shale into hornfels, but normally what we say is slate. Or we can have what's called regional metamorphism, where we run two plates together. The grinding force actually metamorphoses a lot of this rock, and we can change them. Okay, we're going to talk about, we rip this apart, we make sedimentary rock. We're going to talk about the sedimentary rock and what kind of metamorphic rock we can make from it. So conglomerate and breccia, they come together to make what's called a metaconglomerate. Sandstone, made out of quartz, makes a metamorphic rock called quartzite. Siltstone or shale can come together to make something called slate. Smaller muds and clays can come together to make a rock called schist. And then granite, with all the big beautiful crystals, if it gets metamorphosed, it may actually create a rock that is called gneiss. There is a saying with rock hounds out there, or geologists, that if you actually find a really nice metamorphic rock, it probably is, and if it's not nice, it's probably just a piece of schist. Okay, that's the rock record. Go to the last one. We can throw all this stuff in there. We can throw the sedimentary rock in there. We can throw all the metamorphic rock in there. Beautiful purple color for igneous. So it actually shows kids this basic makeup based on color, but it also gives them an idea of how these guys have formed. Remember, it's all about crystal size and texture for igneous rock. It's all about the size and the shape of the clast. And for metamorphic rock, it basically is based on whatever the parent rock, the parental rock was. Okay, thank you very much for stopping by. Appreciate it. Take care. See you next time.